welcome to episode 25 of the Current Backloggers. The date is July 30th. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cody G. Cody, how are we doing today?
I am doing great. I'm really happy that we're now on NPR. Feels great that such a big corporation of propaganda picked us up. Feels really good.
You know, I didn't look at you that time on purpose when I did the intro, so I finally didn't mess up the NPR intro every time I laugh, but I was like, I'm going to do this. You know what they say, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah. Especially on the national propaganda radio.
So what have you been up to, buddy?
Just waging an internal war on not buying things. It's not going well.
Are we just going to lead with pickups from now on for you?
Sure.
No, we can wait. I'm joking. So, is that all you've been up to? Just the war?
That's right. Now I've been putting the basement back together. I cut all the trim. Now there's something special with trim. See, they did the easy way. In your trim.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I cut trim at a 45 degree angle, and meat for a 90 degree angle, whatever, And I've messed up so many pieces, and I was trying to remember geometry from high school, and it was a mess. But I finally finished it. My nail gun came, and then I ordered cock. It's been great. I've been making tons of jokes about nailing cock, and Renee hates it. But yeah, so I got my cock and my nail gun. We'll be putting up trim. Then Saturday, Antonio, my electrician. I like saying that now because now I have an electrician.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. I've met him before. He just is one of my dad's friends. But him and his son are coming out to my house. And they're going to put a fan in my game room, some lights up. I think tomorrow I'm going to buy lumber for a shelf, so I'm real close to being back in there. Like, if I really hustle, I could be back in there next week. If I don't die before that. Renee's going to murder me.
That's exciting, because I need your game room back so we can play Anthem and all these games we're talking about.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Because I'm playing on a little tiny games, the GAEMS little environment thing. And it's 720p, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. It's like 60 hertz. I don't like it. I feel like it's ruining a lot of these games for me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get back in there, too. I feel like something else is going to happen, though. Like, they installed the carpet, and then this guy installed my carpet, and he's like, we're good to go, man. We're all done. And right as he's walking, I was like, by the way, I had to take off all your doors because they don't fit. Like, as he's walking out, I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? And he's like, yeah, you'll have to cut them. And then he just left. I go downstairs, and sure as shit, all the basement doors are off. So I had to quickly watch YouTube videos, and then the step-grandpa came over with a bandsaw or circular saw and helped me cut them. And then we'd cut like 1/8 of an inch, and then it'd be like, man, it's still dragging. We can take a little bit more off. And then he got a little too excited, and he's like, we're good to go. But it's like I can fit like this much of my hand underneath the door. So I'm going to try to get a weather strip for it. Man, you learn a shit ton about houses. When the guy was inspecting our house, I was like, dude, I don't know anything about houses, I'll be honest with you. He's like, you're going to learn. I was like, no, I'm not, dude. I'm not going to learn that shit. It sounds terrible. But it's true. If you buy a house, the house doesn't give a shit that you don't know anything about houses. Thankfully, we have YouTube because I would be losing my mind. But my issue with it's like any tutorial videos. They take 20 minutes to get into something. And it's always like a dad, like a middle-aged dad with his phone kind of propped up. And it's like fumbling with it. All right, welcome back to Dale 269 here. Today we're going to be talking about circular saws and the importance of keeping your fingers off of circular saws. So I just watch a bunch of those videos and learn shit. And I break shit all the time, redo stuff, and that's a great way of learning. But then you also realize you turn into one of those douches that go to other people's houses, and you're like, yeah, they could have sanded a little bit more on their drywall and stupid shit like that. And they're like, whoa, I got to stop that.
I actually had a douchebag friend do that recently. This was my air conditioning.
Oh, I knew that was where we were going. I do. That's a perfect example though.
Well, no, it helped anyways. That's why it was funny to say it.
I've been grilling too. Learned the importance of,
With the Weber.
I've been watching this this really dumb channel. It's called Mannerisms or something like that, and it's a bunch of these macho men trying to teach the millennials how to be men. But I've been learning a lot on that too. Made a killer
I don't know
steak
if that's
today.
worth it.
But yeah, no. It's kind of upsetting to see how they did trim, because that would have been way easier. There's such an easy way of doing it. But it's whatever. You live and learn. That's been it.
That's it.
Just work.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I've been working as normal, and then not a whole lot going on. I've, of course, been listening to Folklore by Taylor Swift. Have you listened yet?
I listened to half a song.
Half a song? Do you know what half a song it was?
I can tell you. Maybe. Let's see. It wasn't bad. I mean, it's like, I think probably her best album I've listened to so far, and only listened to half a song, so that's a good sign. Because most of the time it's like, I broke up with my boyfriend. It's super poppy. Folklore. Did she already release a single too?
Yeah, that's probably, I was going to say, I'm guessing that's what you've probably heard. Cardigan.
A single right after an album?
Yeah. Well, she did it the same exact time. Because she did.
Oh, Cardigan's part of.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah, it's worth it.
But
Yeah, it was a single from that.
That's some Kanye West shit if she done that.
No, yeah.
Maybe this one? Oh, we'll get flagged. Hold on.
Especially Taylor Swift, they track it like crazy.
I don't know how else to do this. I think it's the one. As
Oh,
douchey as that sounds.
It starts with, that's the first track, so that might be it.
That makes sense. The one. I listened to the one.
I was joking about you listening to it, but I was curious as well. It's not the album I thought it would be when I told you, hearing who was writing it with her and her song from Hunger Games, how different they were. But I do feel like it's kind of like that.
Not to scare you, but it's Frozen.
It sure is.
But I still have the option to stop recording.
Wonder if I should pick any of it up, though.
Truly again. But we're back. The video froze, and hopefully we fixed it. I think it's recording. Yeah, there we go. It's very professional. But we wanted to keep it because it felt very natural. A few times we've restarted, it's been like for that one, it'd have been like The Grill, Drywall, Taylor Swift. Yes. Then we would have got to where we were, and we would have been fine.
So I don't know where we were at with the Taylor Swift conversation. So
you asked me which one I would listen to.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to play it on Spotify, and I remembered we're not talking in person. Well, there's 3 people listening to this conversation, and one of them is YouTube. But it was, during the, while you're fixing it, the song is called The One, which is so douchey. The One. I listened to the One. I don't know. But, she's got a good voice, man. I feel like it's gone back to, well, I was listening to Jumping Around a little bit there, too. It sounds more country than.
Yeah, there's one song that sounds super country, and it's probably the most pop-ish, but even that I wouldn't describe as a pop song. And that's why I feel like you might like this album more. Like I said, it was starting out as a joke, but there's not a single song that's like over the top poppy, which kind of surprised me because I expected she's had albums like that, and then there's always like the 22 or like the songs that are so over the top.
The radio.
Yeah,
radio
so
song.
I was waiting for that, and it never happened. A lot of people are saying this is her best album yet. You know, it's kind of like 20 Pilots. There's going to be the audience that does that all the time, but there's a lot of people you wouldn't expect saying it. I'm definitely not one of those. I like it. And it's another album where there's not a song I dislike, which is why she's one of my favorite artists, because there's not many artists like that for me. But, yeah, it's not my favorite, but I thought it might be a chance you might like it, because it is a lot different, even though it's not what I expected as far as, like, the style. I feel like it is there a little bit, and there's no real poppiness. And she, I don't know if you saw, she has 5 explicit songs, which she's never had an explicit song.
What does she say? Poopy?
Um,
That last guy.
One of the songs she says
poopy.
fuck multiple times.
Really?
Yep, it's really weird to hear.
Kind of turn you on? Like,
A little bit, but
really? You're like, oh, she's so angry.
even though it's the way she says it's not anything sexual at all, but it's just kind of weird hearing her do it.
Yeah, I'll go listen through. That's a radio song. I think it's the rap term I've heard before. It makes sense why they do it though, especially someone like Taylor Swift. Like rap stars talk about it a lot. Um, it's kind of to pay the bills,
Yeah.
especially when you're someone that big and you have that many people working for you.
Yeah.
You got to have something that's raking in the money. But then, so you feel like this was more of a, what is that called? Type of project, passion project.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's weird how many people like it to hate on her because, yeah, it does sound more closer to her older stuff, which is everybody said she just always did that. And then she started in pop music, and everybody's like, why don't you just go back to what she did before? So now she kind of, I think it is different, but I feel like it's most similar to her older stuff. And now a bunch of people that never liked her before, like, yeah, this actually sounds pretty good. I'm like, do you hear any of the older stuff then? Because it sounded a lot like this. But
She's got a good voice.
yeah, definitely. I also, you were mocking the lyrics when, well, jokingly, but one of the things you said, and I realized that when I was listening to this, she was talking about the Roaring 20s. When, I don't know if you remember New Year's Eve, that was the thing. Everybody was talking about the Roaring 20s. And,
I didn't think of, what do you, like the countdown?
no, that's what everybody's calling the new year, or the next decade was going to be the Roaring 20s.
What a preface.
And,
what a preface.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I hated it then, and then I was thinking about it, how ironic and they must feel now about saying it. I'm like, oh, this is going to be the next decade. This is going to be our decade, and then how the decade started. And I'm also, New Year's Eve is fun to hang out with you guys, but you know I fucking
Wasn't here, bud.
Well, in general. But I fucking hate New Year's Eve.
Really?
Yeah. I hate it when, well, I liked it when I was a kid, but even then it's kind of weird because it never really felt like a real holiday. And then when I was a teenager, I hated it just because it's such an excuse to get drunk and nobody cared about what it was anyways. And then even now I like having all you guys over and it's an excuse to hang out with everybody. But this year, the day itself is just kind of weird to me, celebrating it, and the whole idea of it's just kind of weird to me, and I never really liked it. And then I've been fucking horrified thinking about this New Year's Eve. Those shows are so hard to watch, and I can't imagine how over the top they're going to be about what this year was, and they usually do like the lice, all the lice that has been lost, and it's just going to be nothing but coronavirus and Black Lives Matter, the entire thing.
Well, then too, by then the election's going to be over.
Yeah.
If we have one.
So, I'm even less excited for New Year's Eve, and that lyric reminded me of just like 6 months ago, the Roaring 20s, and everybody's like, oh, fuck this year in the first decade or the first year of the decade. Everybody's like, oh, fuck this. Pretty roaring.
It's getting a little weird out there, I'll be honest with you. The president's talking about not doing an election.
Do you see he backtracked on that today, though? Yeah, okay. He said that.
Oh, my God, just relieved. I have so much relief now.
Yeah, he said that people misunderstood what he said.
Pretty cut dry with that tweet, man. I feel like sometimes he spitballs shit without even talking or thinking. And so I was like, whoa, dude. And he's like, no, you didn't understand it. It's like, I don't know, man. It's pretty cut and dry. It's getting a little dystopian with that kind of stuff. But it's a weird dystopian where you're like, I could kind of see where this is coming from or that's coming from. So is the election just going to be mail-in now?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Do we have to sign up for absentee ballots, or is this already set up?
I'm not sure how it works. As far as I know how it normally works, but this year I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think our choices aren't the greatest right now.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. Usually I'm all on top of this, but I told you I don't even know if I'm going to vote. Either not voting, hopefully somebody third party that I like enough, but so far it's not happening, or just voting for Mickey Mouse.
You joke, but with the celebrities getting involved, it's kind of getting close to that.
Oh yeah, that's my sincere. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be not voting, hopefully third party enough to like somebody, but even Jorgensen, which is the libertarian, I haven't seen enough of her to like her that much.
Really?
And then she fucking her picture running mate was a podcast host that's not even into politics. So
yeah,
I don't know if I can vote for her. And then if I'm not gonna vote, like I said, either not gonna vote her or somebody third party, or sincerely vote for Mickey Mouse just to play into Joe Biden saying even Mickey Mouse can beat Donald Trump. I'm gonna see if he's right.
I do like Joe.
Do you?
If I had to choose out of the three, like you have to choose the president, and I could choose any of them. Probably choose her. But man, once it gets down to those two, it's an easy choice for me. I gotta go with Trump, just because I like when presidents have back-to-back. Jesus, I just had a stroke. Maybe that's why. Talking about Biden and Trump, I just had a stroke.
Terms,
yeah. Because I feel like that's good and keeps everything normal. You don't have crazy turmoil, switching cabinets around and moving stuff around. And Crazy Joe kind of just seems to just hit
Sleepy
the points.
Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, you're thinking of Crazy Bernie.
Crazy Bernie. See, I can't even keep up with his nicknames.
He's like Sawyer.
He just seems to go with whatever is the popular thing, like Hillary did. And it's so fake.
Yeah.
I think business-wise, Trump is good for the economy. But then you also hear it's kind of like he's kind of just adding to the bubble. I don't know. I just don't feel educated enough to choose between those two. And Trump's been pretty anti-gun. He's passed some pretty crazy gun laws. And that's kind of why I didn't like Reagan. And of course, wasn't alive during then. But from what I could tell, Reagan passed some pretty anti-gun things, and so has Trump. And there's a few things with Iran-Contra and things like that. So I kind of feel very similar on both of them. So, but if I had to choose between those two, it's got to be Trump. Just because it's like, he's just like, what did he say? He said something about black people. If you don't vote for me, you're not a real black person.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like he's trying so hard to get an invite to the cookout, as they say. And it's just, this is so stupid.
No, I hear you.
Yep.
I was gonna say besides that, what I've been up to, but the past 6 minutes of what we said was not what I've been up to.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I did it too. It's just funny. I haven't been up to a whole lot though. I went over to my sister's and hung out with my niece again, and more dumb stories I can tell you later. And went to the drive-in again, and I can talk about what movies I saw once we get into what we've been watching.
Cool.
But that's been it for me. And then we watched Lost again tonight, so hang out with you guys. But that's it. You have any corrections, questions, or feedback?
It's just we sound low again.
Yeah, and you said
it's echoing.
Yeah, echoing.
That's about it. I tried to fix it here. Maybe we could turn it up and post, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening with it. If I have headphones on, it's fine. But it's like listening through computers where the issue's coming from, and I don't know how Trevor and James are listening, or Danielle. So, but Danielle listens through a TV, right?
Yeah.
Does she notice anything low?
She said not normally, but she also...
Really?
I told you, she says herself, audio and video, she doesn't notice a lot of things that we do.
Really? I don't know. It's kind of like the Renee when we went from 1080p to 4K and didn't notice anything. Was it you that had a similar story to that too?
Oh, yeah. My dad has... Even Danielle doesn't really recognize it, but my dad and my mom had no idea. Even going from tube TV to HD, they didn't notice the difference. All right. Well, if you have any corrections, questions, or feedback, you can send to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. You got any news?
Any news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
That's probably where I'm the strongest this week.
Okay.
Oh, we got news. Okay. Not really news, but kind of is. Target and Walmart said that they're not doing Black Friday on Thanksgiving. I'm down with that. That's the only part of the news I have. But the reason I brought it up is because how weird is Black Friday going to be this year?
I know.
Because it's kind of like, I guess for people watching, James probably wouldn't know. Trevor maybe. But it's kind of like a holiday for you.
Oh, yeah.
I've been joining in. It's been great.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely weird. I don't know if everybody's going to kind of follow suit and there won't really be a Black Friday. I can see it going multiple ways. I could see that. I could see them doing it, but nobody's really showing up. And then you want to go with craziness, but it might actually be more fun because you could freely get all these deals and not feel rushed and all the craziness. Or I could see it actually being the worst it ever has because people are so short on money that people are trying to get every deal they can. That just turns into fucking craziness.
Yeah, I feel like people watching could be even better. I don't know, man. I definitely want to go out. I'm probably going to request off. Because from what I hear, they kind of did this last year too, was if you work Thanksgiving, you can have free range whether you want Black Friday off or not. And if you are off Thanksgiving, you kind of required to work Black Friday. So hopefully I can have it off. But we'll see.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Because people watching is my favorite thing. And then picking up random games here and there.
I don't know. I like people watching, but I don't know if I'm ready for all the cringiness and dumb arguments over mask and not mask and standing certain feet apart and all that shit. I don't know if I can deal with that on top of the Black Friday.
The lines are already ridiculous, and then you add 6 feet on top of that.
Uh-huh.
I think they'll definitely be counting people, which is kind of cool, kind of nostalgic, because we're going back to the waiting outside again, which is always a fun part of Black Friday.
Yeah.
I think that level of excitement, the unknowingness of how crazy it could get or could be, kind of reminds me of the old Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know anything that'll be on sale that I'd be excited for. Maybe picking up some PS4 exclusives that I don't have, some Xbox One. Probably not, just because of Game Pass.
Or maybe some Series X or PS5 stuff by then.
True. We'll see. Maybe Blu-rays. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my next piece of news is something went viral since the last time we talked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about something we talked about. And that's, do you know Craig?
Oh, it's
Craig the Brute.
yes.
What do you think about that?
I have a whole thing of Halo stuff in here. I can't really categorize it as news.
Yeah. The Halo meme.
Kind of all. It's a whole saga, but I guess I can give him my short since you asked him about Craig. I think there've definitely been some funny ones, and I'm not actually offended by it. I just think it's more so annoying in general how culture is now. I've seen some funny ones, but just how blown up things get and how they get so focused on one thing. So, like I said, it's hard to talk about without going over all these things I'm talking about, but generally that's how I feel, even though I've definitely seen some funny ones.
Yeah, I agree. I went into a thrift store and I had, once again, a few games as well. And the guy was like, oh, you getting the PS5 or Xbox One? Xbox
Series X.
Series X. Jesus. And I was like, man, probably Series X. Is really, man? Stuff like that. Kind of reminds me of when the Xbox One came out. People are like, dude, you got to get the PS4, bro. Why are you getting that? And I agree. People are hyper-focusing. Graphics, if you're this concerned with graphics, you should be on PC, not console. I get what they're saying, that it's uglier than that. But there was an article on Screen Rant quoting the lead head, or a studio head at 343. His name is Chris Lee. He said, it echoes messages that the game is still very much in development. Which makes sense, but it's like, dude, you're getting really close to being released. How much could they change in between now and the release? And it says it still needs a lot of polishing and tuning in order to look its best. But it just seemed very like this would have been. Do you remember the shell shading when all that was the big thing? It almost feels like a mix between regular graphics and shell shading. Self-shading.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll mix in the Halo stuff I have, and then we can go on your news and then get back to mine.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense. So it doesn't seem like I'm just avoiding your talk.
Should we explain Craig?
Yeah, you can do that. Go for it.
So basically, it's just really like bland-looking brute. I don't know. He's real funny looking, but I like Craig a lot. Thought about getting a framed picture of him or something. Maybe could put up on here.
I can hate you.
But also, I think the brutes were talking in the trailer and their mouths weren't moving. I don't know if you heard that too.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't either, but that's what people were saying. So I think that's a sign that they definitely have a lot to work on with him, with Craig. You know, he's still got to learn how to speak. But yeah. I guess, too, he said that the event, Chris Lee said the event didn't capture the true graphical fidelity. That's his quote. And it didn't showcase how it would run on Microsoft's newest console, even up to 4K resolution. Lee promised the game would run at a solid 60 frames per second with more than 10 times the processing power per pixel, when compared to Halo 5 Guardians. But I don't think that was the issue with the trailer. It was just really kind of bland. And I was kind of seeing that when we first watched it, but now going back and looking at what people were saying, I get people overreact, but I can also see where they're coming from. But it's more open world, too, so there's a lot more things going on. I don't know. I'm kind of worried about it. I shouldn't be, because I'm sure it's in great hands.
Yeah, that's actually my least worry was the visuals, because that's what I was going to say. All of us watched it, and I don't feel like any of us complained about the visuals. That wasn't any of our concern. And I feel like it was a almost 9-minute demo, and none of us noticed anything like that. And then as soon as 2 bad screenshots and a texture pop in, people notice online that's the whole story of the game.
I didn't even see the texture pop in.
Oh, really? You can see it, too, when you watch it. But that's what I'm saying. We sat there and watched it and didn't notice it. So is it really that big a deal if you need somebody to break it down online to show you that?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, if you said how they should play on PC if that's what you want. I mean, everybody plays games for their own reasons, but I actually feel like if a texture pop in and 2 bad screenshots from a stream are going to ruin it for you, I don't even really feel like you like games at that point. I can't think of a game that doesn't have some kind of issue like that. And even when we talked about the new Unreal demo, and I even said at the time, as impressed as I was by that, I was like, I can't imagine that there's really not going to be texture pop in. I don't really believe that. That's just going to be a thing that doesn't exist anymore. So, yeah, I feel like people are definitely focusing way too much on that. And, yeah, I heard him say that, and I don't know, I did kind of think both things, that it was 4 months off or whatever it is. We're getting pretty close to it. So I get your view on that there's probably not a whole lot of time to deal with. But for one, it literally started, and all of us noticed, and every stream I watched noticed, that it started off with press start to play demo. So I feel like even literally from the start of the demo, they were presenting it. That is something that was not done. And also, I feel like anybody that watched E3 knows that these demos are never done. And there's literally chunks that are missing, or a lot of times they make these things and they don't even end up in the game because they just try to make something they could to show at E3, and they're not even the real game. So I think it'd actually be refreshing if this was the real game. Not that they can't improve on those things, but that they weren't just showing some BS thing that you're never actually going to see and is played down like crazy. And this reminds me a lot of Spider-Man on PS4. I don't know if you remember that. Became literally this thing. There's memes everywhere about the water and the water puddles and how many enemies were around. I don't know if you remember that.
I saw an article titled "Why the next Halo will not be the next, or won't be the Spider-Man."
Oh, really?
So people are already arguing that.
That's so crazy because, yeah, I feel like as soon as Spider-Man came out, everybody forgot about that because it was just so much fun and it looked perfectly fine. And what I was saying with that, I think there is a argument to be made about how close the game is and how I don't think they can do a lot with it. I think I don't obviously know a ton about game development, but, I like watching documentaries and all the behind the scenes I can. And they always say the last couple months are when the most polish happens and when
really
they go crazy on games. And also, I've seen not just people on Twitter or Facebook that like to share these memes and the bad screenshots, but places like PC Gamer and Certain Infinity, which you probably heard Certain Infinity, they always do crazy breakdowns of graphics and engines And I would say PC gamer, if anything, would probably be a little negative on something like Halo that doesn't look good, because like you said, that's like the PC thing, is look the best you can. And they were breaking down how the game looks perfectly fine, and that ray tracing isn't in the game yet.
I did hear about that, yeah.
And yeah, that's getting patched in, and it said literally that alone can change the whole look of the game, because that changes the lighting and the environment. So even if the graphics look dull or not up to par, that ray tracing can change the entire aesthetic of the game. And then I think if you put on top of that they do have 4 more months to work out bugs and things that are a little off.
4 more months?
Yeah, isn't that what it is?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little depressing.
I think you'll definitely still be able to, when the game comes out, get a bad screenshot, or I don't think texture pop-ins are going to be a non-existent thing. Like I said, at least for me, if I played that demo, like we were so excited watching it, and if I was playing that and I was like, oh shit, there's a texture pop-in, I'm not playing this anymore. That's just not how I play games at all. So, like I said, I even had, you were probably seem more excited than me. I had concerns and doubts. I feel like there's reasonable things to worry about, but I feel like people are focusing way too much on 2 things that are very odd to me.
Yeah. I get where they're coming from with graphics. All it's just missing, but man, why would you preface that with that, or have those things available when you show the first big trailer on it?
Yeah.
I get they kind of had to, because they're getting pretty down the wire.
Yeah, and I feel like his point, Chris Lee's point about how that they couldn't stream it to the highest degree, also to double down on that, even if they could stream it to the highest degree, majority of people watching can't watch it at that visual anyway, or that fidelity. And then on top of that, it's streaming, so streaming is automatically going to be worse. And then even more so, you remember the stream, it was so choppy that it was ridiculous, and I told you that wasn't on our end, because you can watch any top streamer and they're all, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that's where a texture pops in, they're coming in or anything. I'm just saying, I feel like it's has a lot going against it for what it was.
I want to get a Craig the Brute shirt. I want to get it's like Baby Yoda all over again for me. I need this on a mug.
Do you see the brute force one of him? That was the best one.
No, but that I can see.
Actually, it kind of looks like him.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like him.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. And then we can get back to your news. I was gonna talk about Halo. Oh, you want to say something?
Wait, are we finishing Halo right now?
I got more to say about Halo.
Oh, okay,
so
okay. Because I got one more thing to say.
Okay. Oops. Just to go in more on the fact that I feel like people are trying to find anything they can to complain about this game. I don't know if you've seen all the, I was going to say fake news. It sounds like such a meme at this point, but it literally was fake news. The source, I can't even find the sources because they started out as such small things. I can't remember where they begun. But the first one came out of a very small YouTuber that said he has it on good authority that Halo Infinity will not ship with multiplayer. And I was like, there's no fucking way. And I didn't believe that. I looked at him. I was like, he has almost no followers. I know we don't. I'm not saying that means your opinion doesn't matter, but
that's not an opinion, though. Yeah,
I was going to say that you can't really trust us. That would be like me saying I have a good word from Bungie.
My dad works at Microsoft.
Yeah. And major things were picking it up to the point where 343 isn't. No, that's of course not true. It's releasing with multiplayer. And then as soon as they did that, there's another rumor that it was going to release with the game, but it was free to play, and it wasn't going to be actually part of the game. Which that one was at least more believable. I still didn't think it was real, but it makes sense on one end because the install base would be crazy, and so many games that are top like Call of Duty right now are free to play. But I feel like that's something that might happen in a year or two. I feel like it makes no business sense to do that now because I feel like people are, what's the point of owning this game? We already talked about how majority of people don't care about campaign, unfortunately. So they're like, wait, I just get this for free, and that's the thing I want. That who's going to buy the game at that point? I mean, I know people will, but that's going to be literally millions of sales just lost, and then what's the point in creating this game?
Yeah.
Like I said, I definitely think that one seemed more realistic, and I could see them doing that eventually, but I feel like it'd be after they know that the sales are going to not be rising anymore. And 343 came out and said that that is definitely not true, and it is launching with the game. And it's just so crazy they have to keep commenting on these things. And then, what was the next one that came out? And this one's on IGN, so this isn't like I'm finding random things that people say. People said,
Co-op?
yeah, is that what you had?
Yeah.
Yeah, that it was gonna only support 2-player local split screen and 4-player online. And I was like, am I missing something? That's what Halo used to be.
Yep.
And people would complain because Halo 5 didn't have that, which I thought was a fair complaint because that seemed fucking weird and it seemed like 343 didn't really get Halo. Even then I could see their point of view because I feel like unfortunately that is a shrinking audience and not a big deal to a lot of people anymore. Especially even, like we just said, campaign in general is not a big deal, but especially getting local co-op and 4-player, I don't feel like matters to a lot of people. But as soon as they took it out, apparently it mattered to everyone. And then they added back in, and everybody's like, wait, just 2 players and 4 players online? I'm like, what the fuck is the issue here? What do you want? And
also, today's generation, we play on these massive screens. They would complain then that they're playing in this tiny little thing, little box. Like, I can't see anything.
And I could even though I would have preferred Halo 5 to have this, I thought it was a weird exclusion. I saw where 343 is coming from. I don't know if you remember why they did it and why it was such a big deal. Because
I remember people freaking out.
Yeah, they did it to keep it at 60 frames, and everybody said that was bullshit, and they were just BSing. But I believe that because if you play a game that's not well made, like that Nickelodeon kart racer, if you go to 4 players on that, I'm not even a big frames guy or know a ton of technology. You can see that game just fucking runs like it's lagging like crazy. So
it makes sense. It's just like the processing power is now spread across 4 different things.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe there was a way for them to do it, but I feel like it's a lot easier said than done to just be like, well, you should add this. I feel like I'm sure you've heard people talk about how if you add one thing to a game, they can break the whole code. So I'm sure that's something they could have added, but I feel like they already made that decision and we're one to locking it at 60 frames. And I feel like this is another damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because
this whole thing does.
Yeah, because I'm not even somebody that really cares about that, but that does seem like what it's going towards and not people caring about local or online co-op. And then they did that and everybody's like, oh no, we want our co-op. And now they're adding it back in. I feel like it's going to be an issue again.
I'm just curious, the 4-player online, the only thing I have to add about it, who the hell will you be playing as? It seems like campaign-wise, it's just Chief and that pilot guy.
Yeah. Hopefully there's something story-wise that makes sense, but maybe they'll just do the old-school Halo thing where it's just 4 Master Chiefs, which is silly, but also I wouldn't have the biggest issue with that. I'd rather have that opposed to them just forcing these characters in that don't fit. Or, you haven't played Gears 5 yet, but they do a fucking real weird thing where I have only, I think, 3-player co-op, and the third one is Jack, so he's a robot.
The fuck?
Now, this is so fucking weird, and I'd rather just, at this point, have 2-player co-op that's really solid than to have these weird things. So, it's all just really crazy to me, especially, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of valid worries with this game. I feel like people are focusing on all the wrong things, and I think that's the last thing I had on Halo was I told you how I was worried that with them changing it to Halo Infinite and not Halo 6, that I felt like this might be a sign of like a Destiny type thing, like this is their platform. And I even admitted that even though I'm not a fan of that, I always said Halo would be the one game that I love Halo so much that I could play that endlessly. And that's my issue with all games being like that. I just can't keep up with every game, but my favorite series of all time, it's kind of cool thinking that that'd just be an endless game, but I did tell you and you agreed you preferred that it was like a exciting Halo launch and we wouldn't get that anymore. And I don't have it in here. I thought I did. But 343 confirmed that, and they said that essentially that they didn't say it was the next Destiny, but they said this is the Halo platform and that there won't be that was the quote I had. There won't be a Halo Infinite 2. It'll be, this should be Halo for the next 10 years. And, yet, I'm bummed, and it makes me worried, but it seems like they're at least doing it the right way if they're going to do it. They said that that doesn't mean there'll be all these random missions, and it's not just a hodgepodge of things. There'll be new content, but it'll be like the next story of Halo added into it. And I was like, that sounds like the ideal thing, like what Destiny and these things are supposed to be if they actually stick to it and they say what they mean. Like, this is a Halo game, and then in a year we get the next Halo story inside of it. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that makes sense, and financially makes sense for them, but I guess all gaming's kind of been going towards that, but there's just something special about those midnight releases going to and being excited about it. And I feel like if this console launch does not go well for Xbox, this could be one of the last Xboxes. Times are changing, and I don't like it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see sports games going that way too.
Yeah. And like I said, it's definitely we'll have to wait and see, and only time will tell. And I only think when the game launches, you'll be able to tell that kind of stuff. It'll be years before we see how it all works and if they do stick to their words. But I feel like they're saying all the right things, and they said like almost word for word some of the things I brought up the last podcast about how they don't want it to be open world just to be able to explore things. They want it to be what Halo's always been about, the sandbox, and be able to find things and kind of create your own battles.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody says they don't get Halo at all. I feel like they get it. Whether they execute or not, we'll see. But I feel like they definitely know what they're doing.
I'm excited to see what they do with Forge.
Yeah.
Would be a cool thing to think about if they want to make this a platform. The next piece of news I have is this is from an Engadget article that a Doritos Double XP had leaked the next Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty Cold War. It's a really cool time period and perfect with Black Ops. It was such a cool storyline. This is the quote from the article. While nothing has been confirmed at this stage, leaks have suggested it may take Modern Warfare's grittiness one step further. The title would supposedly explore the Vietnam War from the perspective of the U.S., South Vietnam, and the Viet Cong. The U.S., South Vietnam, and the Viet Cong. And then other excursions to other parts of the world. If they stay historical, I think it'd be really cool. Black Ops did not, with a little bit of historical stuff thrown in there.
Yeah.
But I think that's a perfect time period for Call of Duty. But I feel like they're going to pollute it. They're going to have all these cool, like, AKs. And
I'm sure, yeah.
it's going to be like, glitter AKs. And, oh, shit, the Viet Cong's dabbing. It's like, oh, God, guys, those guys are still, like in their, 70s? This wasn't that long ago. Like, 60,000 Americans died, millions of Vietnamese, but, oh, shit, Doritos Double XP, get your Viet Cong skin, Mountain Dew. It's like, imagine, like, a game now coming out with, like, do you have your glitter IED? What about the 9/11 emoji? So I really hope they don't do that. And I think, I know that's what's going to happen, though.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the most likely outcome.
Just absolutely disrespectful.
I also can't believe we're getting subtitles on subtitles now, because the full title is supposed to be Call of Duty Black Ops, 3? Cold War? So it's like 2 subtitles of Call of Duty. I don't even know what Black Ops... Is that 4, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Cold War.
Yeah, so we'll see. It sounds fun. I think historically there's a lot of stuff, because a lot of that stuff is no longer classified. There's some really crazy shit that our government did, especially getting involved in the war, that they could talk about.
And the numbers.
The numbers?
Mason.
Oh, the numbers, Mason. And that was such a cool Easter egg to get out of the chair at the start menu. But yeah, it's like, man, these guys are not even that old. And they're going to be dabbing and glitter and gold AKs. And I just hope they handle it well. I know financially they have to add this stuff in for some reason. I want the kits to stay true too. Like I don't want like red dots on AKs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like M16s. I don't know. We'll see. Be kind of cool to. And the Viet Cong used like some old ass weapon systems, so they could even go back to like World War II shit. They could talk about the Soviets angle, the Chinese angle. Maybe even talk about the Gulf of Tonkin, where the U.S. government actually lied to us and got us involved in an endless war like that.
Oh, Jesus.
But I know it's just gonna be Viet Cong dabbing and flossing and terrible stuff. So this is a Reddit leak for Xbox, but this is also from a Verge article talking about the Reddit. This is getting so meta. The Reddit user claimed to have snapped the photo at a party in Washington. He was, I think, a high schooler, and it was hosted by the child of a Microsoft employee, which is kind of funny to think about all those kids that told us their dads worked at Microsoft. This kid wasn't lying. The controller itself included the new D-pad on the Xbox Series X controller, alongside the new share button that Microsoft is shipping on next-gen controllers. We spoke to the Reddit user before their account was deleted, and they claimed that the associated console was also white and looked more squarish, and the Xbox button looked bigger on it. It's definitely a high schooler's quote. To tell us about the next console. Is this like more squarish and the button was a little bit bigger on it? And then the poster, I think the crazy part for me was that the UI is still the same. But they could also still be using just the old UI.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be different.
The D-pad looks nice, though. Did you see it?
Yeah. I can go off one thing I had news-wise. Did you see that connects to that?
Connect.
Oh. Did you see that there's rumor that there's going to be, the new console will be revealed in August? Because there's been a lot of, I think Microsoft even said that they would have an event in August maybe, and everybody assumed it was for the new console. And then Phil Spencer was on Podcast Unlocked last week, and he said that they'll have more to talk about with the new console sometime in August. So everybody put together that if they're doing an event in August and they're going to talk about the new console in August,
that'd be sweet.
That must be that. So it sounds like we'll have some kind of press conference or showcase in August for Microsoft.
Do you think this kid got into some deep shit? Or he got scared because there's a lot of people coming at him? Yeah, I couldn't. That's going to be, if his dad found out, that's going to be awkward every time he's over. Like, you almost got me fired.
Yeah.
But I think Phil Spencer's a pretty chill guy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Seems like it.
I always thought Bill Gates was a pretty chill guy, but then you hear, like, some of the crazy stuff he did behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Especially when they were making the original Xbox.
Yeah.
You ever heard that story?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I feel like it might just be perception again, but I feel like it is different because I feel like Bill Gates might have seemed like that, but I feel like he was always about technology and money. I feel like Phil Spencer, the thing that makes him so different and interesting is that obviously he's about money and business, but he was somebody that was into games before that. So I feel like his business and money translates to him liking video games, so it all connects together.
I hope they don't look back on it like people look back on Sega. God, they were so far ahead of their time, and then they just died. So I hope that doesn't happen to Xbox. I think there's a lot more cash flow to Microsoft than Sega ever had, but at the same time, it's sometimes I sit back and think, like, besides OSs, what are they really selling anymore? Like, what is their cash cow or whatever? They have to be bleeding money at this point. I don't know. But then we saw those figures from last week where they're up a certain amount.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like, I would like to know what's the big money maker for Microsoft. I thought the same thing about Sony, though, too. Especially because you hear, like, PS4 or the PlayStation division kind of supports everybody else.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I think that's all the news I have, though.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Some mine kind of just, like, weird tidbits or not really news. I think you're missing one that either you didn't see or you're going to be really excited about. But I'll get to that. So it's kind of still on Halo first since these aren't really news things. Did you see that 343 even had to confirm this, but I thought it was cool that the brutes can throw the grunts, and that's what he did in the trailer.
I did
And
see.
that's gonna be awesome. I didn't think about either the grappling hook. It'd be really cool if you can use that to grab the kamikaze grunts and throw them back. But that'd be fucking awesome. I don't know if you can or not, but that'd be really cool. And then another just weird thing. Did you see somebody's creating Halo Infinite in Dreams? And the screenshot actually looks like just like Infinite. I haven't tried it myself yet, but the screenshot looks just like Halo Infinite. Also, I don't even have it in here, but Dreams, did you see? I mentioned last week they added in the VR mode, and I knew they were going to do that, and I thought it'd be cool, but I thought it was kind of be whatever is created in there turned into VR. But it's like a whole new platform where you can make VR games in there.
Oh,
and
sick.
like first-person games, like what you would see in VR. No, that is fucking nuts. I can't imagine what people are going to create with that.
Yeah, and then I think about the trolley stuff. People are going to create that too. Like school shooter simulators and...
Or stuff to fuck with you, something that does look amazing, and then you turn and it like gives you a headache. And
Oh, no. Yeah, they got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Legally, like lawsuit-wise, there's a lot of angles that some shit could go wrong.
And then the only other thing that was Halo that is actually kind of news. I don't know if this was always assumed, but I didn't know it. Did you see that Infinite is going to be on Steam as well? I knew it was coming to PC, but I thought it was always just going to be on Game Pass and through Microsoft. But they're still bringing it to that, but also to Steam as well.
Steam is quickly becoming the only platform on PC.
Yeah.
Seems like from 2012 to maybe about a couple years ago, people were still trying to get people to come to their terrible platforms.
Well, I feel like they have less competition overall, but I feel like actually they have the most serious competition they've had yet with Epic Store. I feel there's less competition, but it's probably the most likely one. And that actually brings me to my next thing. We talked about Rocket League last week about how they'd be going free to play and how you get all the DLC. I don't know if I missed it. I actually heard it on Sacred Symbols. Did you hear that they're taking it off of Steam when they do that?
Wow. Was it going Epic?
Yeah, I'm assuming so, because I forgot Epic bought Psyonix, so the studio that makes Rocket League. So I don't know how that works. I own it on Steam. I don't know if that means that it's not going to sell anymore, or if they're literally just like taking it off and it's not playable anymore.
I don't know. I hope not, because that'd be really bad PR.
Yeah, and it would make sense to leave it up anyways, not just PR-wise, but it's cross-play, so it's not even like it would kill the game to, like, once you take it out of Steam Store, a lot of games are unplayable because the audience just goes away. But there might not be any more people buying it on Steam, but they'd be buying it on the Epic Store, Xbox, Switch, literally everything is on now, so the game would still live. So, yeah, I can't imagine that. I don't think it's going to take it out of my account or people to own it, but I don't know if it's just going to not be playable anymore, like the servers will go off for it. But, yeah, I can't imagine they would do that.
Yeah, they're pretty dirty.
Yeah. Let's see. This is the news that I feel like you would be all about. So, randomly, at Comic-Con, G4 dropped a teaser trailer that they had returned in some form or fashion in 2021.
I forgot to put this on my news.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I thought you'd be all about that.
Of course, especially how they did the announcement.
Yeah, that was cool. It's exciting for me, but I told you I always wanted to like it, and I never had an issue with it. We just never got the channel till right when it was like transitioning over into that fucking weird, what they tried to do. It didn't call G4, but they tried to keep a game in for a little bit, and I kind of just vanished and turned into whatever that shit was.
We never had Dish growing up, but I had friends that... It was Dish, right? Yeah, Dish Network?
I think so.
We had friends that lived out in the country. They had to be in the city to get cable, but in Virginia, there was a lot of people who lived out in the middle of nowhere in the Appalachians, and they would all have Dish, and it was like, as soon as we go over there, it'd be constantly on. That kind of makes me sad, too, because towards the end, man, it was a husk of what it was.
Yeah. No, I know. That's
bad at the end.
Because I saw, obviously, I love games, so I knew what it was, and I saw some episodes or saw some online or whatever, and I was always jealous or saw commercials for it. So I knew what it was, so I knew what I was missing. And then, yeah, I finally got it, but I knew it wasn't what it was, and then it eventually went away.
Yeah. Became Fender
Yeah.
Network or something stupid. My babysitter had it too. She had Dish as well. She lived out in the middle of nowhere. We used to just watch it constantly.
I don't really know what a return means anymore. I didn't know if maybe that they were just going to use G4 to create their own like streaming site or YouTube channel, but it says returning to TV, so unless they're just doing bad marketing, it literally sounds like it's going to be a channel. But I don't know if it's going to be like a Vizio for you to watch thing, or if they're actually going to have like their own channel, because TV is so different now that I don't know what G4 is.
I think that's a mistake. That's a mistake. If you think about the people who have cable or television anymore, just not that demographic.
Yeah.
I thought when I watched, it's like, okay, this is a YouTube channel, their own website for sure.
Yeah, it's just weird because I feel like if they do that, then everybody's going to make fun of it, and it's probably not going to last because there's so many things on YouTube and the internet that is like G4 and probably does it better now. That it kind of seems weird no matter how you do it.
Did you watch the final episodes?
No.
They're like leading up to it. They're like giving away stuff on the set.
Oh, really?
Sad time. I think I just graduated high school too.
Yeah.
I think I just graduated high school, and it was like Toy Story 3 had just came out, and that was all about it was just a sad time for me. I wanted one of those cell phones. Do you ever see the cell phones? They had like the ceilings covered and cell phones.
No, I don't think so.
Always wanted one dangling there. I think it was Attack of the Show had that.
Oh, yeah, like hanging down, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was
They
like
give those
actual
away.
ceiling. Yeah. I don't, like I said, I don't know what this is, and for me, I don't know what the right direction is, like business-wise. Personally, I would love if it was like a watch-free thing, and then they could also do it on YouTube or whatever and keep it kind of like all platforms and have it all over the place, because that's what I loved about G4, the idea of just turning on and always have gaming stuff happening. And I love that, especially we have IGN and some things on watch free, but it's not like new content, and they kind of just rotate content that's on IGN, so it's not really like a channel of IGN. But my concern is that I feel like it might be a real channel, which that's not my biggest concern. My concern is they're using the name to get everybody excited, and then I feel like this is going to be like an ESPN of gaming, like esports and streaming, especially because I feel like, unfortunately, that's probably a huge business move right now and would create a lot of interest.
I think it would be good if they could do a mix, because I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember, you probably noticed, especially towards the end, they would have a lot of filler. Like, I specifically remember early on when I first started watching it, there was like, they would endlessly play game trailers, I think. There was I don't know why I'm remembering that, but I sort of remember that. So I think if they did a hybrid of the two and played classic episodes, because near the end of the run of the show too, and maybe even before that, they used to play reruns. And this was like late in the 360, and they'd play like stuff from like the PS2 era. That was kind of cool and nostalgic
Yeah.
to look back on. So if they could get all of the old episodes too, and if you guys make this a channel, have all the like almost like a WWE network, have all your old stuff, your new stuff, have a podcast section, and we could be on it. Have their podcast, do them live, your esports. Maybe go and like do live events at PAX and stuff like that. There's a lot they could do.
Yeah, I feel like the way I would want to take it, and for it to succeed, not necessarily just what I would want. Yeah, I think esports would be smart. That's just not something I'm interested in at all, but I think that would be smart to get an audience and keep it going. But then, for me, I would like it if they mixed in certain things, like had a current show, kind of like at the time, Attack of the Show or X-Play was, where they do interviews and have reviews and the latest gaming news. And then maybe a retro show, not even like necessarily old episodes, but like retro focused gaming. I think it'd be cool.
That would be cool.
And then I think it'd be really cool to have a deep dive documentary episode or a show as well.
For sure.
We have Jeff Keighley in there because he seems to do everything. And I don't know if you ever remember on Spike TV, it was fucking worst name in the world, but it shows the times. Gamehead, did you ever watch that on Spike TV? And then it became Game Trailers TV eventually.
No.
That's how I started liking Jeff Keighley and why I knew him at such a young age. Because, like I said, we didn't have G4, but we had Spike TV, and he always did these half-hour or hour episodes where it'd be focused on going to the studio. Like he went to Bungie when Halo 2, I think, was coming out, and no one really got to see inside Bungie and how secretive they are. And you know, like go through the studio and see it, and see like the Master Chief standing there, like the statue. And he would interview him and get stuff that nobody else was getting as far as footage. And then he'd mix in like interviews or events like E3 or whatever. He'd mix in clips from that. And I was like, this is so fucking cool. And I'd even be down for something like that. But obviously it's not a documentary. I'm talking like kind of like no clip. I feel like it'd be like really cool. But even something like Game Head or Game Trailers TV, I think it'd be awesome.
When we get to what we're watching too, I can tell you about another channel that does something similar.
Okay.
Called Cloth Map.
Oh yeah, that's the meme guy from Giant Bomb. That's him.
Oh my God, that is him, isn't it?
Yeah, Drew
Dude.
Scanlon.
He's doing good stuff over there, man.
Yeah, I haven't.
I remember
watched
you
it
said he
much.
left, but I didn't know he left to do that.
Yeah.
That's him. That is him, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I watched a bunch of his videos. I've been binge watching it.
That's why I said
Really
that was
good.
so weird to me because Giant Bomb, that was another thing I jumped on early, and he hasn't been with Giant Bomb for a while, but when that meme came up, I was like, oh, that's weird because I know him, but I figured it was just going to be like on the Facebook page that I follow and everything, and I started seeing people post it that would not only not know him, but not know Giant Bomb. And I was like, this is so fucking weird.
Yeah, you could ask any of those people using that.
Oh,
who
yeah.
is this that would know. But no, that's funny shit. Like I was like, I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you. I'm gonna tell you about this YouTube channel. It's exclusive. But it's really good, man, because he's doing something that I think is really cool, and something I try to do like when I travel, and it's super vanilla version of what I do. But if you go visit somewhere, the first thing I'm like, okay, where do the gamers meet up? Where's your gaming stores? Like I want to go there. He does the same thing, but in like Cuba.
Yeah. I feel like that's almost a dream thing for me. You know how I love traveling and also love gaming. So yeah, I'm jealous. I'm pretty sure he just announced that he's ending it though and doing something else.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and he said that it's so hard to do right now because you can't really travel anywhere. So
Yeah.
it makes even more sense that.
His series on Brazil is really good. I
Is
recommend
it?
that. Just because how weird they were with importing shit and all the workarounds they had to do.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. Like I said, I've liked him forever, and it's right up my alley. I just, there's so much to watch that I haven't done it.
Even stuff that is just like video game themed, like going to Ukraine and touring nuclear silos or Pripyat. But yeah, also something to be cool that they've done since the 80s and it's kind of fallen off is video game shows.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
They could do something like that.
I feel like I've talked to you about this. It's not really a game. Well, it's kind of like a game show mixed with Big Brother, which I guess is a game show. You ever watch The Tester on PlayStation?
No, but what was that one game show with it was like all like nerds. There's a lot of cringe comps that came out of that.
I'm not sure.
So douchey, but
We need to watch The Tester. You'd fucking hate it, but you'd love it. Like I said, it's like Big Brother mixed with games, so it's real over the top about like the drama in the house and these ridiculous personalities. Because it was not pre-YouTube, but where it was like just normal and gigantic. So it's like the early stages of these people trying to be that, and it's so great. You'd love it. I enjoyed it because it was cringy, but I also personally liked it because it was made by Sony, so there's a lot of people that you don't normally see and then be able to talk about their games and stuff, so that was cool. But the point of it was the last one that was left got to be a beta tester for Sony.
wow.
Which, yeah, that's
Oh my god.
was kind of ironic and cringy in itself, but we gotta watch it. You'd fucking love it.
So I'm guessing this was like my junior year of high school. Okay, 2009, 2010. Yep, Sci-Fi Channel. It's called WCG Ultimate Gamer.
Oh, I know that.
It was basically like that. Like I think they all live in a house. They were on teams, but then their competitions would be video game related or nerdy shit.
Yeah, that's how these were.
So they probably, honestly, they might have stole the idea from the tester.
Yeah, it could be. It wasn't on TV either. It's just you had to download it on the PlayStation Store. So it might be hard to find now unless they kept it up, because this was on PS3. And then the next news I had was Sega confirmed the release date for Sonic 2, the movie, for April 8th, 2022, which is nuts that it's that far away. But also, I feel like everything's so weird right now, and we're just used to stuff not coming out, that I saw that, I was just instantly excited. I feel like normally I'd be like, what the fuck, that's so far away? But now I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sonic, and that makes sense that's 2 fucking years away.
Yeah.
It also,
that's weird.
It is nice, though, that they're clearly not rushing it, especially since Sonic was a pleasant surprise business-wise, because it did so well. That's nice that they're not just rushing into it.
Also, I see Geralt there. I forgot to add that on my news as well. Also, I need to watch the movie. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, you do. I was thinking about our early episodes, all the things we talked about. Some of it you can't do now, so I'm kind of sad. Hopefully you will eventually. I don't think it's something you can just never do, but it's kind of weird thinking about that. But yeah, Sonic's something you could definitely do, and probably rent it for, I'm sure, a couple of dollars. And it's worth watching. I want to know what you think.
Yeah.
Also, I also see a thing right here that says ultrasonic every time we record.
What thing?
Down there. And it's kind of weird talking about Sonic. But yeah, next thing you're referencing was Netflix announced a spin-off of the Witcher show called Blood Origins.
Prequel, right?
Yeah, prequel. Yeah, prequel spin-off. I feel like it's weird because it's a prequel, but set 1,200 years before, so I don't feel like it's a prequel that's really going to connect. And I feel like the main complaint with that, I haven't watched it myself, but it was already very confusing. So I feel like doing a prequel that's 1,200 years before is only going to confuse people more, especially unless you're like really, really into The Witcher. It seems like an odd choice.
But I feel like it's something they reference all the time in the show or movie. They reference that time period.
And the next
like
one,
Game of Thrones does.
Yeah. The next one was announced today, so you might not have seen it, but this from IGN. Ubisoft and Netflix are teaming up to create a adult animated Splinter Cell series from the John Wick creator.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. I don't think I would ever imagine Splinter Cell as a movie anyways, or a show. But if I did, I feel like I would thought live action. I feel like animated's gonna be weird unless it's maybe like a really good CG maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That's odd. How about you make another Splinter Cell game?
That was my next thought. That I'm not even a big Splinter Cell guy, but I feel like it's a running joke that it seems like Ubisoft's messing with people now and just doing everything it can to not make it. Yeah, and add him into like this crossover weird, and it all seems so weird. It seems like they're doing everything they can to make him sure that he's still known, but not make the game, which seems so weird. And then the last thing was actually right before we started recording. Actually, I had 2 more things, but right before we started recording, we talked a couple times in here about WB games.
Uh-oh. Drum roll. Did they get bought?
No, they haven't yet. But it sounds like there might be somebody that is going to do it. So,
Microsoft.
No. EA's CFO Blake Jorgensen, was responding to questions regarding future acquisitions in today's financial call, including about a big asset, which is likely referring to WB Games. And that was from IGN. So
it's a good fit.
Yeah, I know. We talked in here how it's the easiest thing to make fun of EA, but yeah, I feel like it makes a lot of sense. And also, would be cool to see them have so many more properties if they do get those properties, but not like we talked about. Those studios are so talented that if you don't have those properties, you could still do crazy shit with it. Especially if they don't have those properties, I feel like some of those studios can make some fucking crazy Star Wars games, which is, I think EA could use some help with. So, I could see that happening.
That'd be cool.
And then, actually, the last thing I had was that Spider-Man Miles Morales, the PS5 game, did you see it's going to release with a remaster of Spider-Man?
Ooh.
So that might have been where all the confusion was coming from. But I feel like, yeah, that's even better. And I feel like when they initially talked about it and all the reporting was that this was a remaster, that's kind of fucked up. But I feel like it's even better value if you're getting this like side story and then you're getting Spider-Man on top of it if you haven't played it, or even if you have, you're getting up-res new or next generation version of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, that was from IGN as well. And then that's all the news I had. The only other thing was a small tidbit again that I thought was odd. The official PlayStation account tweeted about an interview they had on the PlayStation podcast, which is an official PlayStation podcast, an interview with Obsidian about the Outer Worlds. And that's just so weird to me. We talked a few times in here about crossover and how much gaming has changed, that they're interviewing Microsoft Studio games. This is so weird to me that they're like presenting it to like it's a big deal that they're advertising Microsoft's game. But I feel that's exactly what Microsoft wants and why they do it. So I just thought it was odd.
No, that's weird to think about. It'd been cooler if they were doing that for WB.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. You don't want some of those things you don't want sitting on exclusive on a console.
Yeah, nothing confirmed, but that seems like an odd thing too. That does seem like an odd quote if they're not referencing that. I don't know what else they'd be referencing.
Sega.
What have you been playing though?
I've been so busy trying to get this basement together because I had no joke, I stacked all my cases up. Probably like 4 or 5 foot tall things.
Mm-hmm.
They all collapsed, made a huge noise, and I still can't tell if anything's broken or not. I was like, hey, I gotta get this basement done, man. I gotta get it done. So I've been working on that so much. Just Halo Wars, man. Halo Wars. But honestly, still feeling the same about it. Let me get to my notes here. I just felt like those games would do so much better with keyboard and mouse. I know you can do that with an Xbox, but I just naturally, it feels like I feel like I'm losing units and people are dying because I'm not responding quick enough. Because on a mouse and keyboard, it just feels so intuitive for me to play strategy games on that. Oh god, I lost my spot. There we go. Something else too, especially because it's made by the guys that are just perfect at making it run, is just having more soldiers. Like capping it at 80 is just kind of annoying. And Total War is known for like it feels like thousands of guys are fighting. Why can't I have that? And why can't I have a galactic? There was a Star Wars strategy game where you could fight all across the galaxy, and you have a bunch of planets. You could be losing a planet. I wanted that, not just stuck on one planet. I wanted like they call them campaigns, where you just Total War, like you go take over all of Europe or the whole world. I would like that, but in like a solar system style for Halo Wars. And they kind of want more of the RTS, and the only people really in RTS, similar RTS, is StarCraft, and that's been probably getting close to a decade since a new one of those came out. So it kind of seems unneeded, and I just want like to even do a Covenant campaign or a Flood campaign and have all the diplomacies of that. And ship battles would be cool. So I want Halo Wars, but on a larger scale. But story wise, it's amazing.
How far are you? Do you know like what mission?
Maybe halfway through. Right now.
Gotcha. No, I could see that, and why you would want a bigger scale and all that. I feel like that's intentional. They didn't do that because I feel like they could easily do that. I feel like they tried so much to simplify and make it so easy for anybody to play and not be overwhelming like RTSs and other RTSs. And I feel like as soon as you make it that wide scale and thousands of people running around, that instantly gets way more confusing and not just pick up and play like Halo Wars is.
Yeah.
You do know it's not like anywhere near what you're talking about, but a lot of levels you can increase the cap of how many people you have.
Stop.
Yeah. By building your base up, you can get it. There's upgrades to make it to, I think, 100 and then 120. So like I said, not. Yeah, so definitely notice a difference. So, and 20 or 40 more people, obviously.
Jesus, what have I been doing? My poor guys is probably like, dude, we need help down here.
Or you can also, it's not really a spoiler, you also can eventually, with the ship controls, like to bring stuff down from the sky, you can bring ODST in, and then now bring in more people as well.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's super cool doing that.
But yeah, what have you been playing, man?
Oh, that's it, just that.
Yep, that's literally it.
All right, you're good. Not much more for me, actually. I was playing Halo Wars 2 as well. I think I'm probably about halfway. Like I said, for me, I feel like something's missing because I did Halo Wars just fine, but I'm having more of an issue with this as far as people dying and feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't feel like it's bad game design because I feel like every time I'm just fucking up, and I feel like I played Halo Wars just fine.
What difficulty are you on?
Normal.
That could be it. I'm playing on easy.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, because RTSs, I love them. I'm horrendous at them. Even Total War, I've sunk probably hundreds of hours in Total War. Always played on easy.
Maybe I should.
Huge learning curve and that kind of shit.
Yeah, I was trying not to do the easiest. I don't, you know how I am. I don't really care about difficulty. I was just trying to do something a little harder, but maybe that would make it more fun, which is why I don't care about difficulty, because I always try to find that balance in something that's not too easy and also fun. So
yeah, I've never been able, even if I go a step beyond to normal, it's just I get decimated. Also, I've noticed maps seem to really heavily focus on one type of unit, at least early on.
Yeah.
So like, okay, this map I'm investing all in warthogs, or investing all in this unit. So maybe that, I don't know if you're doing that as well.
Yeah, I definitely have been doing that. Still enjoying it though, and yeah, I'm loving the story and the cutscenes. So even if I wasn't a fan of the gameplay, which I am, I'm just, like I said, a bit of a frustration. That would be enough to keep me going. And then besides that, more of The Last of Us Part 2. I think I'm probably like 40% of the way through that and still loving it. Still very confused about the reaction to it. But like I said, I'll keep that updated without spoiling too much.
They have an announcement on when multiplayer comes out yet?
No, not since that initial announcement. They delayed it, but it will be coming out. And like I said, I feel like unless I'm making this up, they announced it as a standalone thing, but I might be making that up. I went out of order this time, actually. Did you have any media pickups? That's supposed to be for what we're playing.
Unfortunately. No, I told you last week I'd more settle down to, like, if someone calls me, or my mom's always on the lookout. There's a game store in my mom's town. That the guy's super nice, and he has no problem saving stuff for you or let you know about stuff. And Peter, my friend Peter, like anybody, I get text messages from most random people. Like Garrett this week was one, and but yeah. So my mom told me, like, hey, Family Video's selling out a lot of their stuff. Kind of made me sad because I missed out on their Wii U and Nintendo games and their Wii games. They were $2 a piece, no matter what they were, Mario or whatever. So I missed out on a lot of those. So I went there and let me see. Sure that this is yes, so this is the Family Video pickup for $2 a piece. Was Beyond Two Souls, Beyond
PS when I was drinking.
PS3. You'll notice on these pickups too was a real heavy focus in PS3 exclusives. I played some of them, but I felt like I really missed out on them, and I want to get a PS3 soon. I've regretted it ever since I sold my original one. So I've been kind of beefing up that collection when people tell me stuff's on sale. So Beyond Two Souls, Killzone 2, both those PS3. The rest of these are Xbox 360s. Remember Me, Risen 2, which is like a pirate game. Then Bound by Flame was one I didn't want to pick up for a while just because it came out on Xbox One. But I think it's backwards compatible. Dynasty Warrior 6. The Bionic Commando. I loved the demo of Bionic Commando. But I never played the actual game.
I won't ruin it. Did you ever hear the twist in that game? I got ruined before I played it. And it's
No.
It's so fucking funny.
Really?
Yeah, in a terrible way. Maybe you'll just think it's cool about that. And maybe it's different if you see the game, but it became kind of like a meme thing. That is fucking so dumb.
That's great. I know it reviewed poorly after it came out.
Oh, really? I thought I remember it being like 7s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think the story was ridiculous. That's why maybe the thing that is a twist and a spoiler made it, if you play the game, it's not presented that way because the game's so over the top. But just hearing out, there's no fucking way.
Maybe I'll play through it soon.
Okay.
And let you know about the spoiler. The next one was Alone in the Dark. That it's always been something on my radar. Dead or Alive 5 and Anarchy Reigns. All those Xbox 360 pickups. And those were $2 a piece, which is insane. That's cheaper than thrift stores. Pisses me off that somebody cleared out a Wii section and a Wii U section. Because you know how Nintendo goes, man. That stuff just goes up and up and up. Next one. Oh, then while I was there, I was like, listen, lady, I like these rental shelves. She's like, oh, you just missed it. My mom's friends with the manager. She's like, you just missed it. I was like, oh, they probably all got sold, huh? Pretty quick. No, we had them up here for sale for a long time, and I just had to throw them away. Don't tell me that. You just might as well just said, no, we don't have any. But then she's like, I tell you what, if you go back to the adult, if you don't know, Family Video is a rental store. She said, go back to the adult section back there. There's a shelf back there. Would you be interested in? So go back there. And I've never been in one of those sections before. And for some reason, it was more ridiculous than I thought. I thought it would be like when you go to 7-Eleven and they have black things over them so you can't see.
No, yeah. I went in there as a joke. It's great.
Holy shit. How do you stock that shit with a straight face or feel really weird? And we knew somebody that worked there, and I was like, you know, we worked at the theater with her. I was like, what do you do, like, how do you tell people you have late fees? Like, do you say, like, oh, just remember, like, you call them on the phone, like, backdoor sluts 6, South Park reference, is due? Like, how does this work? Like, I guess after a while it gets normal, but who the fuck also is going back there anymore? Like, all that shit's free online. I mean, you could say the same thing about movies, though. But, yeah. So I went back there. I was like, yeah, that's a really ridiculous spot. But, yeah, I'll take the shelf, your dirty, sex-filled shelf. So she said, I left my phone number, and she's going to let me know. And then I was like, man, what about your Xbox, like, signs? And she's like, well, we got to keep them until all of them sell. But she's like, I tell you what, I can give you one of them. So she gave me the Xbox 360 one, big, cool sign. And she's going to let me know about the PS3 one once they sell out. So hopefully I get some rental shelves. Those would be kind of cool to have in the basement. Especially because, I don't know if you heard, Family Video is probably not the most profitable thing in the world. But the family that owns them, super rich. They own the buildings, so there's nothing really money-wise they put into them. But Dollar General approached them with a crazy deal. It was like $10 million for sporadic locations. And it's a really good contract from what people say online and what this manager told me. Basically, Family Video could back out at any time. And so I think they might be going to the wayside. So hopefully I get those shelves. But after coming home from my mom's, I just stopped by Goodwill real quick and found Simpsons Hit and Run on the PS2. Found that for $2.99.
Great game.
Yeah, man, I loved those games. And I already own it, but the value on those are going up. So I figured might as well. Then at the game store, really nice guy there. For $1 a piece, or for $1, I bought a game that I originally bought my PS3 for, which was Mag, R.I.P. It's useless, but I think with the discounts I had, it ended up being 50 cents, and I figured for 50 cents, it's just kind of cool to have. Mag, then Warhawk, PS3 exclusive. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Great game.
Yeah, dude, it was really, these are really cheap. They were like all like around $2-3. Mind Jack, Metal Gear Solid 4, which I've already played, but once again I sold it. Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, and then another reason I bought a PS3, this was the second game I bought on PS3 by the way, was Lair. Never quite understood why that game got so much hate. And then Haze, which is another game I didn't quite understand got so much hate. I really loved it. And then White Knight Chronicles.
Did you play Lair when it had the stick access? Because that's yeah, I didn't play with that, but I heard that was the big issue, that it did not control well at all.
I think they patched it though where you can switch back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So I played a little bit with that, but yeah, I didn't play the whole game like that. Cool premise though, man. Some cool cutscenes in that game. Haze 2, soundtrack done by Korn. It's great.
That's why I didn't like that game.
So all of those were buy one get one free, and they were all right around $2-3. So, a dollar, $1.50 here and there for games I don't mind.
Yeah.
Especially these are great games for the PS3. Same store, same guy. I picked up Super Troll Islands. It's a SNES game. I think that ended up being like $5. I don't know what the going price is for it, but it was closer to 20. It looks ridiculous, so I was like, better pick it up. And then I've always wanted the Game & Watch. I like the Game & Watches, but I know the Game Boy versions were the ones to actually to get. They're a little bit easier and cheaper. But for like $3 a piece, I got Gallery 2 and 3. And then at my mom lives near the Amish country. That's where you got your beautiful Taylor Swift. So we went to a bunch of Mennonite, which are kind of like Amish, diet Amish, I guess is the way to describe them.
That's the one with like the giant hook, right? Kirby's Enemy.
Oh my God. That took me a second. Yeah, Mennonite. I think it's Mennonite is how you say it. I don't know. But basically it's like Amish, but they can use electricity. They were very anti-masks, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. Whew. They have like 5 or 6 Mennonite thrift stores we went to, and they all had signs up that was like, we do not require masks, and none of our workers require masks, but listen, don't fear anything because God's got you. It's like, well, didn't God kind of give people the knowledge of using masks and the understanding of it? But we won't get into that. But they were not very friendly people. I grew up really close to the Amish, and I could go on all the time about how funny they are.
Also, I like how you said that's where you got your Taylor Swift and pointing over there. Like I have her tied up or something. I knew what you were saying, but...
Your Taylor Swift table. Well, you've been there, man. Growing up, it wasn't so much of a tourist attraction, but every year I go back, there's like a new resort, and they have all these Amish grocery stores that all these, Karens, I guess is a good way to describe them, go in there like, oh, being so traditional. But, like, I like going to Amish stores because there's things there that I like their sourdough bread or trail bologna. But some of the stuff is like, guys, clearly they're not making this shit in their kitchens. Like, they have Amish potato chips that are really delicious. And my favorite is the Orange Sickle Gummy Bears. Recommend those. But I know damn well that shit's made in a factory. It's not made by Amish. I've seen Amish people with sound systems in their cart. I remember that being really young, like people having sound systems in them. Coolers with beer in them. The Amish are great people. But yeah, one of those thrift stores, I found Most Wanted, Need for Speed Most Wanted on the 360. That was $1.99. And then at the game store that I just mentioned all those PS3 games from, what was this one? Where did I? Yes, is that it? No, okay. At another Mennonite thrift store, I found Police Academy. It was like on this really cool WB VHS tape. Evil Dead on VHS, Bubba Hotep on VHS, and this really crazy promo video from Walt Disney World. Do you remember these? Where they'd send them out to you, or you could ask for information, and it'd be like these terrible VHS tapes of Mickey Mouse giving you a tour.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta get those for nostalgic purposes. So I picked that up. What else? And then probably my coolest finds. At the same place, I found Cardinal Sin, which is a PS1 game that's kind of going up in value. I picked it up for $1 at the same game store. And then for $50, I got Geist, Star Fox Adventures, and Tales of Symphonia on GameCube. Which GameCube is going through the fucking roof right now, so I was like, I better pick these up. I know it's a little bit more than my $2 or $3 limit that I like spending on games, but once he told me he had those, I was like, yeah, I'll take those.
You ever play Star Fox Adventures?
No.
I doubt it holds up at all now, but at the time I thought it was so underrated and so fucking cool.
It was supposed to be a different game, right? It's supposed to be like a dinosaur game, and then
they
switched to a Star Fox game.
Yeah.
Star Fox is one of those things I never really played, but I'd love to go back to the SNES and play them all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think this is quickly becoming the most expensive Star Fox game, I think. Star Fox Adventures. It's like, man, I might as well just grab it up while I can. I'll have to look. I don't know how true that is. But then the coolest find, you already know about it, but I went to a thrift store right before they closed, and it wasn't in the best part of town. And their workers, have, in my mind, have been pretty rude in the past. And I was like, dude, we go in here 15 minutes before they close. They're going to be so mean to us. But we went in there, and they had a bunch of Game Boy games, and the workers were incredibly nice. We talked about video games with them. They were sweethearts, and I felt terrible for thinking that. But Peter found a bunch of really cool Game Boy games, and then sitting on the shelf with the DVDs was some 360 games, and sure as shit, NCAA Football 14 was sitting there, and it was a super minty copy, complete, for $2.99. And I think price charting has it at like $140 right now, but I think on eBay it's going for about $120, $110, $90 to $120, somewhere right around there. And the guy at the game store was like, man, I'll give you $80 right now for it. So it's hard to turn that down. And I think it could fall in value if they announce a new one. So I'm but I wanted to play it. I wanted to give it a go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And he even told me, he said, man, in a few months, even if after you played it and you decide you don't want it anymore, even if it goes down in value a little bit, I'll still pay you 70 or 80 in store. And he gets good stuff in there all the time.
Yeah.
Well, as you saw, all the shit I just picked up. So sometimes if he calls me or if I find out it's on Facebook or something that he's got something real cool in there, I'll definitely be taking that in and getting it. But yeah, that's really great because remember last week when I was like, this is it.
Yeah, that was one of the longer ones yet.
Yeah, and there's more coming because my mom already has picked up something for me. And Peter picked up something for me too. It's just I've trained everyone around me, like all my parents and family members, be like, if you see video games, let me know. Because everyone in my family, it's kind of like a flea markets, thrift stores, yard sales. They always go to them. I feel like your family's probably the same too, right?
Yeah, I think it's not as bad, but not as much, I should say. Not anything bad with it, but yeah, not as much.
Oh, it's bad. I could show you this room right now. It's real terrible. It'll be the end of my relationship with Renee. No, she's really crazy understanding. Whew, but yeah.
What have you been watching?
I haven't watched any movies, man.
Oh, really?
I've just watched that's so funny as shit, man. You know how many times I listen to that podcast? But yeah, I've been watching a lot of the Cloth Map. Other YouTubers that go to thrift stores and pick up shit. I should just start a YouTube channel where I do that too.
Yeah, go for it.
Justified. For that'd have been that NCAA 14. That'd have been made a great thumbnail. That would have been such a clicker right there, buddy. I'd be too big for this podcast then.
I hate you.
Yeah. But yeah, so I already have two things that's gonna be probably on next week's pickups. And this one just now finished.
I've actually been watching more than normal this week, which is odd because everything else has been slimmed down. But I missed two last week. Last week, I forgot to say I watched Bulletproof, which was the Adam Sandler movie we talked about a couple weeks ago. And
you've seen it before, right?
No, that's why I told you I hadn't.
That's
why.
what it was.
Yeah, and I watched a trailer. I don't know if I said this, but I watched a trailer and I was like, oh man, this looks super dated, which makes sense. But like I said, I feel like humor's changed so much that I feel like Happy Gilmore and those kind of movies, Billy Madison, those work because we've seen them, so it's kind of like plays off nostalgia, so you don't think about how kind of dumb and silly it is. But this movie I hadn't seen, so I was real worried. And the trailer didn't look funny at all. But like I said, my manager at work kept trying to talk me to watch it, so I wanted to watch it to give it a chance. And I love Adam Sandler, and I couldn't believe I hadn't seen it. And I used to love the Wayans brothers. And it was nothing like the trailer showed, and it was fucking hilarious. and it was super offensive, which I did not expect. And if you haven't seen it recently, you should watch it. I'll tell you some stuff off air just because how offended people can get, but there's some fucking great stuff in there. Definitely worth
I've
watching.
seen since I was a little kid.
Yeah, there's one scene I can tell you right after we're done, you'll love it.
You know what I remember specifically about that is Adam Sandler's like almost oversized jacket he's wearing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what, I don't know why that sticks out to me.
Yeah, him and I think it's Damon Wayne. Is that the one in that?
I don't know.
I think
All
it's
of
him.
them kind of.
Yeah.
Where have they been, man? Besides some of those terrible.
I feel like they did the thing that I said I never thought about, but Adam Sandler would fall in the same trap where they just kept doing the same humor, and then people are like, "What? This is fucking old," and they never varied from that, so it kind of just fell behind.
That, especially from our generation's perspective, even a little bit before with In Living Color. My parents loved that show, so I do remember watching a lot of reruns or my parents talking about it. But man, that was a super successful family.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit, that's a big ass family, and all of them were like, there's probably one or two in there that did nothing, and I bet they feel terrible.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite movies as a kid was Major Payne. Did you like that movie as well?
I saw it. I couldn't tell you anything about it now though.
I love that movie. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. The other one I missed last week was we watched Star Wars Episode 1 because a few months ago, you might remember, I was talking about how we're going to try and watch one a week and watch all the Star Wars again, even though we've seen them. But we were kind of watching sporadically and did not keep up with it at all. And since we were watching The Mandalorian every week, and now that's over, we should start Star Wars and start from the beginning since we were watching them so on and off. So we're going to try our best to watch them every Monday. So we watched Episode 1 last week, and then this week's stuff that I watched, we watched Episode 2. They're so great, and even the bad parts are so great, like Hayden Christensen's overacting, or young Anakin, the stuff that happens with him, or how awkward and uncomfortable Anakin and Padme are because of the age difference and just all the creepy stuff that happens. Even the worst stuff in it is so great.
Thankfully, it was kind of it was the older girl instead of a.
Yeah.
Because culturally, that's a little bit more accepting.
And then this was actually last week too, I think, wasn't it? Borat. We watched that one after we watched Lost. That's Borat. Or Sacha Baron Cohen in general just never fucking gets old the more I watch it.
I was talking to my girlfriend about that because she's like, God, you were laughing so much, and she almost seemed maybe kind of annoyed with me. But I was like, listen, I don't give a shit. That movie, it still holds up so well. I could watch it over and over again. Yeah,
even the stuff that some of the stuff I forgot, and it was super funny because I didn't remember it all, but even the stuff I remembered it, I would start laughing because I knew it was coming, and it was still funny.
Right.
And then besides that, I started watching Red vs. Blue again because I'd just been in a obsession with Halo, and especially thinking about Infinite coming out. And you might have seen it down here before, that collector's edition I bought of Red vs. Blue with like the first 10 seasons on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to watch the shit nonstop. I had the DVDs as a kid. I watched it nonstop. So I started watching it like this time. Beginning I saw all of it, but this time I started watching it season 3 because the first 2 I watched endlessly that I could replay in my head because I wanted to watch them all to be able to see them all, because I think I've only saw up to like season 5. I didn't see any of the later stuff, and now I think that's 10 seasons, but they're already on past that, so I'm going to have to buy more. But I started at 3 since I thought I remember the other ones so well, and they're kind of just ingrained in my mind. And now I'm already up to season 5, and I'm remembering everything I'm seeing so far.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the reason I skipped those, like I said, I remembered so much, but I was like, I'll start at 3 even though I've seen it, just because if I watch the new stuff, I want to be able to know what happens before and remember it. But like I said, I've up to 5 now. I'm like, shit, I remember all this. I could have skipped 5 seasons. I can't believe all this is just stuck in my head like this.
That's crazy.
But that shit is so funny, and another thing holds up. There's definitely some jokes that don't land, and some that's almost just like cringy, but I remember that as a kid. I was just like, oh, that was not funny at all. But the shit that is funny is ridiculously funny. And I don't remember Oh, I do once I saw it, but a lot of the verbs they use, I feel like even for them, they would not do anymore. Not that this wouldn't fly. I feel like they probably changed so much that they would not say a lot of the shit they were saying now, but it was so great and so different than what humor is now. Um, so I'm excited to watch more, especially, like I said, I thought I'd be getting to a point here already where I was like, I don't remember this at all, or this is new to me. I'm like, shit, I remember all this. I want to see something that is actually new. So I'm excited to be able to watch stuff that I haven't seen for it yet. Especially, it's cool seeing how much the visuals change and how much they learn from. Because the first season, I think the first season is literally like probably 30% of the screen is all you can see. I don't know if you remember that because they put a black bar to block out the gun because they're literally using the aiming animation to make the show.
That makes sense, but I do remember it being formatted weird.
Yeah, so then they learned from that to where they started using, they could like clip out the gun, and then it became
Clip out the gun.
Then it became so easy when they added things like the theater and forge mode and all these things where it was pretty much just fucking machinima inside a game.
Yeah.
So it's weird seeing how like it evolved, kind of like Pixar would with their art style or something, but obviously a much smaller scale, but almost even kind of more impressive with what they were dealing with.
My babysitter's kids, well, that's how she became a babysitter. They were my friends, but they were super into that show, and so I'd go over and watch it. I never watched all the way through, but we jump around to their favorite episodes all the time, and I know the gist of it, but I would love to rewatch them.
Oh, I'm down. Even, like I said, I didn't watch the first couple just because they're ingrained in my mind, but if I was with somebody else especially, I'd watch them. And the style doesn't hold up, but I feel like somebody like you would get that. I feel like if I was just showing somebody else, it would be this fucking dumb, but I feel like somebody like you especially would appreciate like where they started and how it is kind of janky and then seeing what it turns into. So no, I'm down anytime. I also forgot how long they were. I was like, I could just have these on the background, kind of get through the ones I've already seen. And most of them were like 2 hours. I didn't remember that at all because we just put them on and then it would end and we would start it again or go to the next one. I was like, I don't know how we did this.
Yeah, it was like endlessly playing at their house. Because he had a grandpa that was spoiled them, I guess is a good way to put it. So they would get a lot of the cool shit, and I would spend a lot of time over there.
Yeah.
They were also the ones with Dish. That was usually a big factor for sleepovers. Was we're definitely going there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he also had all the strategy guides too, so go over there and write down shit. Oh, what a different time, man. Different time.
That's I think part of why it is still funny, and like I said, a lot of stuff not even just holds up, but it's funnier now because humor's changed so much. But I think definitely it is helped by thinking about those times, and it kind of feels like comforting watching it and thinking about all the people just come over and watch it and then just be like, all right, we're done with that, let's play some Halo. No, all right, let's watch some Rivers of Blue. Just fucking Halo on Halo.
So awesome, man. I mean, I get what you're how long ago was it? Like 16 years ago now at this point?
Probably. I don't even want to think about that.
That's weird. Because you think about 16 years prior to that would be like in the 80s. We're those people. Like, you know, those people like, oh, in the 1980s. That's weird.
The roaring 20s, man. That's what I'm always saying. Then me and Danielle watched a couple more episodes of the pizza show on YouTube. Still liking that a lot.
Still liking it?
That's good. Definitely. Yeah, but kind of, they're so quick. They're like, oh, shit, we got to watch another one. We just keep going. But I don't want to end it too fast because there's only 2 seasons. I think we're episode 6 right now, the first season. But
I like the host a lot, too.
Do you?
Yeah, because I feel like from a distance, I'd be like, that guy's a douche. But then I'm like, oh, he's a cool guy. I like him.
I don't know. Like I said, when I talked about it the first time, I have nothing against him. I can't point anything at the douchey. I just get a weird vibe from him. I don't know if it's because, like I said, everybody else around him is so over the top and nice. I'm kind of like, I don't know. This guy seems questionable.
You watched any of the side stuff?
No.
I can't remember if this is an episode or one of those things they do on the side where they sit down at a kitchen table with a delivery pizza.
I don't think so.
I'll have to find that for you and send it to you. They sit down with some of like the early episodes owners, his grandma and the host, and they go over delivery pizza. I know you'd probably hate it just because they're like, this is ass, this is shit. Clearly this isn't a brick oven, that kind of thing, but it's still fun to just watch, especially because his grandma's just like,
yeah,
that was beautiful. And they're just like, this was ass.
And then at the drive-in, we saw Ghostbusters, the original one, which I fucking love Ghostbusters. And another thing that definitely takes me back to being a kid, I'm watching with my dad all the time and thinking about how I had fucking, like, I didn't process it until I was watching it this time for some reason. I could place almost everything I was seeing and having a toy for it, which is weird because I don't really remember being that into Ghostbusters, but I could picture everything as a toy.
Dude, like original?
I'm sure it was, yeah, because
Holy
I had
shit.
2 older brothers, so.
Keith, you know what this stuff's like worth now? That's annoying. If your mom still has that, you better listen, Mom. Don't you ever have a yard sale. Did you have the house?
Yeah, we had that. Yep. Yeah, I'm not making it up because Danielle watched this. I literally explained what that was while we were watching it.
What about the ambulance?
Yeah.
Ecto?
Yeah. Yep.
What the fuck?
I even had, what do you call it, the proton pack. I had a wearable one that you put on and the little tank that they go inside of.
So even when you were playing with that shit was like 16 years old, 20 years old.
It must have been old, yeah.
If your mom still has that, you better make sure. You need to get this shit in here. You need to start putting it up on a wall, getting a shelf for it. Because that shit, when a game store, like I follow a lot of toy stores, game stores on Facebook, when they get shit in like that, they post on their Facebook. That's how cool that shit is.
Yeah, it was weird because I knew I had toys and obviously I remember it, but I watched that. It wasn't like that. It was the first time I've seen a movie since I was a kid. I've watched multiple times and I never thought about it till then for some reason.
Because your older brother grew up in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was probably definitely hand-me-down. That is fucking crazy, bro. Let's look at how much the proton pack is. God damn it. Like this one right there?
Yeah, that was it.
It's so annoying because it's like, I really hope you still. Do you think you still have those?
I would imagine so. The garage is full of shit, so.
That would be a great YouTube channel show. Let's just go into your garage. Because if your parents hung on to that shit, that'd be really cool, fun to go through there. And we're going to fill this basement up with all the cool shit you had as a kid. You're going to be looking like me soon. You know why that makes me so excited?
Why is that?
Because all of my shit is gone. I don't have any games from when I was a kid. I don't have any toys from when I sound like a homeless kid or something. But I did preserve. There was a box where it was all of I was really into Spawn and Spawn figures and Todd McFarlane figures. So I had boxes of them. And some G.I. Joe, some stuff that I really liked as a kid. Well, about, 2012, my grandma and mom were like, oh, Cody doesn't need these, and gave them to my nephews. Destroyed them. Pieces. Like a damn horror story, like, coming in and be like, oh, I had that as a kid, but mine was not broken. And then, what the fuck? And be like, Grandma, where did this come from? Like, oh, that's your old stuff. And just coming to that realization. So when someone tells me shit like that, like if that was me, Casey, I'd be over there right now. I'd be waking my mom up. We're tearing apart this garage. We're finding everything. Because that is just so awesome to me. Maybe it's, and you can't get mad about that shit, which makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
I traded in all my games for nothing and kept nothing. And Peter's another one. I don't know. You probably traded in your games though, did you?
Yeah. A lot of it I wouldn't actually care if I did, but there's definitely some things I wish I didn't.
Yeah. Peter is one of our friends. His parents, they hoard. I'll be honest with you. But they hoard cool shit. Like you go there, it's a museum. He has everything from when he's a childhood. And not only that, but it's pristine. Like with boxes. And it's like, I was an idiot as a kid. So stupid. So maybe that's why I'm addicted to sitting on eBay, rebuying stuff and buying other stuff, is because of, I don't know. I have a connection to it. Oh, having your original toys, man. Jealous. I'm serious. I'd end the podcast right now. I'm driving over my... Wake up, Mom.
And then the other movie I saw at the drive-in was...
oh, that's where we started from. That's how we got there.
was Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse, which is a fucking great movie and probably my favorite Spider-Man. I think it's so fucking awesome.
What's the animated one?
Yeah.
Recently came out. This is a good one.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite too.
Really?
I mean, there's not much competition, but maybe the first one. We were kids.
I was gonna say, there is competition for me because I have weird views about Spider-Man, but that's still probably my favorite. Then we watched Lost tonight and last week, so 4 more episodes, and then next week we should be able to finish season 3.
How many seasons are there?
6, so we'll be halfway through.
Halfway through. Stuff's starting to come together too.
Yeah.
Kind of nice. Yeah. I'm
excited. Like I said, I don't add much just because I don't want to ruin anything. But I'm excited too. I'm excited to see what you guys think. And then besides that, just some sports. I've been watching the Reds when I can. They haven't been playing quite as good as I thought they would. They're 2-5.
Yeah.
But 2-4, 2-5, one or the other. And then today's game got postponed, so that hasn't been played yet. But if you guys paid attention to the games, they could have won every game they're in so far, and they're playing talented enough to win. So I'm not as worried just looking at as I would be if you just looked at the record.
Especially the Tigers games.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's pretty much their only issue has been their bullpen. The starting pitching has been fucking probably the best in the league. The offense has been up and down, but good enough to win games. So if the bullpen can just not even, if they can just not suck ass completely, the Reds will be fine. So I have hope. And then I watched the Crew game, which that was sad because they got knocked out of the MLS tournament. But like I said, it'd be cool to win the tournament, but after I figure out that the tournament isn't the season and it kind of just feeds into the regular season, and the Crew shut out every game before that, it wasn't as big a deal to me. They got lost 2-1 in penalty shots, so it was another good game. And they're also starting their backup goalie, so the fact that they were even that much competition starting their backup goalie, didn't have that big an issue with it. And then we only watched a little bit of it, and I listened to it on the radio, but the Blue Jackets Expedition game, can't really call it preseason because playoffs start on Sunday. But looking forward to the playoffs, and they dominated Boston, and people would say it's just an Expedition game, which is true, but I feel like it's a little different because they were all starting their starters, so I feel like it's a lot closer to a actual regular season game. As much as I hate Boston, they were easily one of the best teams this year, and the Blue Jackets beat them 4-1. Like I said, I feel like the Blue Jays have a serious shot at going deep in the playoffs. It's not the Stanley Cup because I feel like they can benefit more than any team with the layoff. So I'm excited for Sunday.
Yeah, man. Is anybody out anymore with injuries?
Just Brandon Vinsky because I'm not sure if he's on this planet anymore. And then
it's been a minute, man.
The Blue Jays
about a year.
Yeah,
almost a year, right? September.
Yeah. The Blue Jays don't really talk about it, but then randomly they do, and it's really weird. Like in their hype-up video for the season starting back up, the season started with Brandon Dubinsky going out. Wait, what the fuck? You guys are acknowledging he exists again? Where's this guy been? And then they're missing him and Josh Anderson. I don't think he's supposed to play, which, like that should be like, oh shit, they're missing 2 top players, but that is nothing compared to what they had. You fucking at the end of the season, you're like, yeah, you're missing pretty much every top player, and somehow they're still competing with like a minor league team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this could surprise a lot of people. And like I said, if no teams actually drop out like they did in the MLS tournament, I feel like winning a championship should be the same as every other season. It'd be weird, but as far as the competition and everything, I don't think anything's different. And actually even more so, it's actually tougher for the Blue Jackets, the Maple Leafs, and the 2 other teams I can't remember, because there's an extra round of playoffs this year because they let more teams in. So the Blue Jackets actually have to win more rounds than they ever would have in the playoffs before.
You know what makes me sad, I was talking to Renee about, was no parade probably.
Yeah, hopefully by then, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be like a lame virtual parade or something. Hopefully... Well, I guess not even hopefully. I was going to say hopefully VR takes out to the point where we can feel realistic to being in arenas or stadiums, but that's not going to happen for quite a while if we're at that point. that's their choice watching games. I think we're fucked if we're that late into this all going on and that's still happening. But yeah, just excited for Sunday. Are you busy Sunday? Or you got work, don't you?
Yeah, work.
Damn, because it doesn't start till 8, so it's a late game. We can get into the free games this month. It's another transition, or this week, another transition month. So more than normal. So on Xbox One, you got WRC 8, the official game, and that ends on July 31st, so only one more day. And they got Dunk Lords till August 15th, and Portal Knights starting on August 1st till August 31st. And on 360, you have Juju for till the 31st of July, so one more day. And then starting on August 1st, you have MX Unleashed till August 15th. And then PlayStation Plus, it's Rise of the Tomb Raider, NBA 2K20, and Erica till August 3rd. And then did you see the ones for PlayStation for next month?
No.
I'm really excited about one of them. You'll probably be more excited about the other, but I think it's another good one overall. Starting August 4th, you get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Fall Guys, which Fall Guys is, do you remember seeing that at either press conferences? It was a battle royale, but kind of looks like Ninja Warrior or like a racing, like really cutesy art style, but it's a very different battle royale where, like I said, it's like a racer, but not like in cars and like Ninja Warrior style or Wipeout or something.
I'm sure I saw it. I remember. Jesus, sorry. But yeah, that's not ringing a bell.
Because, like I said, I think it actually looks like a lot of fun. I know it's cool to hate on battle royales, and I even have to a point, but my biggest issue is that nobody's doing anything different. And I feel like you can generalize and say it's a battle royale, but I feel like that's literally almost completely different from what we know as battle royales. I feel like that's like every shooter had a death match, but somebody did something different, then it's still different, even though if it's still a death match. But my biggest worry was that it was $20, and battle royales in their nature need a shitload of people to play them. And I was like, how are you going to keep an audience for this? So I feel like it's a really smart move to make it PlayStation Plus, because then by default you have millions of people that can download it if they choose to. So I feel like it's a really smart move. And
Definitely.
Also, I had a bonus for me because, like I said, I was wanting to get it, but I didn't know if I could spend $20 on it, which again speaks to, I feel like, an audience issue. But now we won't have that issue, hopefully.
There we go.
Any fake outrage this week?
No.
No, me either.
No? Oh, dang.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So before we end, I had a couple of things. Next week, how do you feel about doing a top 10 of our games that we think are most underappreciated or underrated? Because I feel like I think about those games a lot, and also I feel like maybe get more attention to games like that.
I could definitely do that.
Yeah.
But are you thinking more like hidden gems or games that are well known that just got a lot of hate?
Yeah, I was thinking a mixture, because I always used to say underrated, but then and one of my go-tos is Shadowrun. But then I told you I felt like somebody brought up a good point that game, if you're looking underrated, should mean what is rated. And that game's in like the 7 or 8s, which is not that bad of a rating. And also, if you look at the reviews, I feel like it's a very fair rating for what they're basing off of, like not having much content, not having certain things there. But I felt like it was definitely underappreciated for, like we talked about, how much that actually kind of changed games and how much games fed off of that, and what was there was so positive. So I feel like you can look at that as like underappreciated, or I think you could look at something underrated, like maybe websites did give it a 5, a 3, whatever, and then you thought it was really good and was actually underrated. So I think either of those would count, and why I didn't just say underrated games.
Yeah, I'd definitely down for that.
Yeah, okay. And then the other thing, not game related at all, and I'm not sure if you want me to say in the podcast, but I just will.
Let me take notes of that real quick.
Okay.
So I don't forget.
Before we recorded last week, you were talking about how you are terrified because you think you might be going bald.
Yeah.
So I haven't told Danielle this, so she's going to learn on the podcast. But you notice how my hair is getting longer?
Not
'Cause
really.
no, normally I shave it like every month. I don't let it grow out.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if I can commit to this, but I'm gonna try to not cut it, or even if I do, maybe I guess when you grow out your hair to cut off dead ends, which I didn't know that was a thing. So maybe do that to actually keep it growing. But I think I cut it on May 30th, so I'm gonna try my best to not do it till May 30th of next year.
Whoa.
See how terrible it looks.
Oh no.
Might have to rock
That's
a lot
awesome.
of hats and a lot of these, but I don't know if we'll see if I commit to it, but that's what I'm gonna try and do.
Let me write this down. Top 10.
My hair is that
Hidden,
coming up?
hidden gems, buddy. That's crazy because I feel like you're gonna have more of an afro.
Yeah, that's
and I'm always jealous of people that can grow afros.
Oh no, I hate it. Even this hair, if I push it up, it'll probably start to get an afro. But when I grow out a little more, it definitely gets into afro.
Yes.
You know, when I was little, I told you it was super curly and it would like fall down like girls' hair would.
Yes.
That's probably offensive now that I said that, but that's just how it is. And I don't know if maybe I just haven't grown out my hair long enough, or like I said, I never actually cut off dead ends like you're supposed to, so it's probably just dead hair up there, and maybe that's why I did it. But I'm curious if it just keeps growing, if it's just gonna fall down, or if it's just gonna keep growing up and out and not really fall down like hair should.
Yeah. I talked to my barber.
Uh-huh.
He said in late 20s, which is where I'm at, it's normal for this to come back a little bit. My dad said in his late 20s it happened to him too. And both of my grandpas my one grandpa passed away before his 90s, but in his 80s he still had a full head of hair. And my other grandpa, my dad said, I probably said this last week, but he was in his 90s and still had a full head of hair. But on my mom's side, they're all bald. So I'm just up in the air right now. Do you notice any difference? Does it look different to you?
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't even bring that full circle. The reason I wasn't just calling you out for saying you're going bald. The reason I decided to do that is I don't want my hair long. That's not why I'm growing it out. That's why I shave it so much. But I was like, I feel like there's definitely a possibility that I could start going bald at any point because I'm almost 30. So I feel like that's not unrealistic that could happen.
Your dad's got a full head of hair though, right?
Not anymore, but it's not like gone or anything. It's just like thin and kind of combs over it. So yeah, maybe it won't happen. But I was like, as much as I like shaved head and don't like dealing with hair and don't like having a styler every day and all that, I feel like I'd be bummed later when I can't grow hair. But man, I wonder what it would look like if I just grew out one time and now I can't do it. So yeah, I might as well do it now while I for sure can. And then
Well, move your headband. Let me see. I don't think you're going bald. Nah. It scared me. Does it scare you at all?
no, not really. No, actually, not at all.
I was upset. I have a little OCD about shit anyways, but I'm like in the back mirror, like
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm
pulling
doing it.
out, like is anything coming out?
That's why I'm doing it. So I'm not growing out because I'm like, oh man, I'm going bald. I need to cover it up now. I'm doing excited. I'm so okay not having hair that I just always keep my hair like that. And then if I can't grow hair, I'll be like, man, I should have grown out just to see what it looked like one time. So I want to do it in case that does happen.
I'm really excited for you. I knew a couple kids growing up that had Jew froze.
I'm not excited. Like I said, it's not something I want. I'm just kind of curious what it'll be. And even aside from the looks, I fucking hate having to manage it. So I'll probably wear a lot of hats and headbands because that's the best thing about having a shaved head, just waking up and going.
I'm excited to see.
So hopefully Danielle's looking forward to that.
And I think what's going to happen is you're going to keep it.
I think you're dead wrong.
I feel like when I met you, you were like, I hate facial hair. And then one day you're like, I'm going to try it. And then now look at you.
Well, I don't even still necessarily like it or think it looks better. I think I still feel the same. I just always cut it because there's another thing I didn't have to manage and it didn't grow as fast, but now it does. So now I feel like it got to the point where I couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, my facial hair is changing too.
Yeah.
And thicker, and the shadow's real, and growing hair's real. It's weird.
That might be I might try and grow this with it for a year. We'll see, but that might be another thing I never even touch it besides like cutting right here. But I might have to trim it because I think the same thing happens with that. Just a bunch of dead hair just sitting at the end of all my face.
It's great.
But I don't even know how you do that. I don't know. I'm no hair expert. Anything you want to say that is very vital to gaming for you.
Buy physical media. That's it.
That's it.
I'm gonna try to finish every episode like that.
Okay. I have a important not announcement, but
I'm gonna stand up.
Said.
My butt is on fire.
Okay.
Oh.
We got our. This reminds me of Borat when he's standing up during that interview. You mind sitting down?
But
Hello,
my name is Borat Sagadiev. Wow, I'm so excited.
But our indoor football team, we got a new indoor football team coming in 2022, which again sounds nuts, but I think it's a very smart move, especially with everything going on. The Wild Dogs. I can't wait, and I just want to make sure I get the Wild Dogs in on there. Not Vital Gaming at all. Anything else for you? Well, okay. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Current Backlog. And you can send any corrections, questions, or feedback to currentbackloggers@gmail.com.
And any seat cushions, send them to my home address.
Which is
911.